Hey everybody, Steven here, back with another video. Today on the channel we're going to be comparing two more baritones. I'm not sure why I did this when we're referring to this. We're off to a great start, going well. Either way, there's going to be two baritones we're going to take a look at today. One is a pretty special thing, and the other one is equally special, which is this right here. But without further delay, let's just go ahead and get into it. Alright, so up first, what we have here is the EC-1000B from ESP-LTD. Fantastic instrument. It is a 27-inch scale baritone in the EC shape, which is kind of their answer to the Les Paul. It's a little more curvy, has some nice cutouts and dips there. Just makes it, a lot more comfortable to play than your traditional Les Paul, in my opinion. My opinion, as we all know, is useless. So that's cool. I don't know where I was going with that. Either way. Back to it, we have neck through construction, as you can see, and I'll put some nice B-roll up there as well so you can see it even better. The whole guitar features this lovely charcoal metallic satin finish. It's a nice way of saying it's matte black. It's matte black. It picks up all of the finger grease and looks great. It's very dark and gloomy in appearance and fitting for metal. Actually, the standard version of this that is not baritone, I think, is in the black metal series for ESP, so everything's metal. Either way, let's talk a little bit more about it. So we are working with a mahogany body with a lovely maple cap that cannot be seen because, well, it's matte black. I'm sorry, charcoal metallic satin. The neck, three-piece mahogany as well. Macassar ebony fretboard, as is often the case with ESP-LTD. Nickel frets, sorry. Your standard white inlays, no lumen lays. Unfortunate. We have pretty much covered the wood stuff. So let's go ahead and get into the rest of the specs here. So we have lovely ESP locking tuning keys, and if you've watched any of my videos, you know my thoughts on that. Some of them are amazing and some of them are pretty crappy. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth. Moving on from there, got a Tone Pros TOM, Tune-O-Matic bridge, string through, very cool. We've got two Fishman Fluence Moderns. These are the shinier of the black ones. Can't think what they call that. They're not matte black plastic like the others. They're shiny chromy black. Chromy. Look, I don't know what words to say here, so I'm saying stuff, and you can just roll with it because that's what I'm doing. Anyway, yeah, these are there. They're shinier than they would be otherwise. But yeah, Fishman Fluence Modern. We got a ceramic here in the bridge. Alnico in the neck. Three-way position switch as you would expect on something of this shape. Your tone knob has the push-pull to go between the active-passive voicing. We've got independent volumes for each. Pretty cool. If you want to get wild, you can set one off, get your Tomborello on if you want to annoy everyone. Or start a revolution. I'm not sure. One way or another, you're pissing someone off. And that's what it's all about, right? Making noise, pissing people off. That's pretty much it. There's not a ton else to say about this. It is really well made. Obviously, we got our control panel back here, and your cavity for your battery. Also the cavity for the three-way, so if you need to replace it, let's hope you don't. But yeah, fantastic instrument. The neck feels great. It is a thin C, they call it. I should have covered that already, but I didn't. Just trying to be a little more casual about these things, just to give you the information as I see it in real time. So that's that. Let's hear the guitar. back, and as you see, there's another guitar sitting here, and this one is the special one, and I'm going to explain to you what makes it special. What makes it special to me might not be special to you at all, and that's perfectly fine. Either way, this is a subsonic baritone Stratocaster, and it's a parts build. And I know you're thinking, oh well, that's kind of nonsense. Yeah, no, it's not. The reason I'm showing you this is because you can make a guitar that is equal in quality and maybe even a little nicer in quality for lesser price. For a lesser price. Sorry, words come out of my mouth incorrectly sometimes. Don't worry, because you've got a comment section. Feel free to insult me. I don't know why I just teapotted, but I teapotted and you deal with it. I'm not proud of what just happened. I don't even know why it happened. I don't know that I've ever teapotted I didn't even know that you could call it teapotting, but it happened. Either way, let's talk about this guitar. So this, just like the other one, is a baritone. This is a 27-inch scale subsonic baritone neck from Fender. This one is a made in Mexico neck. It features, obviously, maple, and this is paw ferro. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you know that I don't say things right, but you still keep coming back and watching my channel. I'll spell it out down here correctly, and then comment section for judgment. No? Yes? Okay. Teapot? Look. The shame is omnipresent. Anyhow, paw ferro, if I'm saying that correctly, and 27-inch neck. Fantastic. It's a nice, thin, traditional C shape. Feels great. And we're going to move into the rest of the parts here. So we got the body. Now, the body came from guitarfetish.com. If you're not familiar with guitarfetish.com, the link will be in the description, but it's also time that you get familiar because they're a great resource for parts and materials to do builds. They also sell completely finished guitars that are also quite reasonable in price, along with a ton of pickup options and hardware options that are all fairly budget friendly and honestly pretty high quality. And this is no exception. This is one of the XGP line Strat replacement bodies. Had a hard time getting that out of my mouth hole. Strat replacement body. We did it. Either way, this is one of those. This is in the red sparkle color, ruby red sparkle, I believe they call it. And it looks quite a bit like Dorothy's slippers, which is pretty cool. It's obnoxious, it's shiny, it's glittery. I don't know how well that comes across on camera, but it is quite obnoxious and shiny and glittery, which is normally not my thing, but I'm trying things that are different, just because. From there, we have hardware to talk about. So we have Hipshot hardware on this. Hipshot hardware there. We got a Hipshot tuning keys. These are the open back. These are the lightweight ones. Pretty nice and very stable with tuning. Works really well. Hipshot bridge, real deal Hipshot bridge. Some sort of general input jack. I want to say that it's got the Fishman thing in it, obviously, because that's the only way that'll work. But that itself, I found on Amazon, I think it was like $5. For the Fishman, which is a Fishman Fluence Modern V3, I have 2 voices selected. Now the Fishman Fluence Modern V3s have 3 voices. I have voice 1, the active voice, and if I pull it up, voice 2 is the single coil voice. So it gives me a bit of versatility with this instrument because it's single pickup. It has this little guy right here, which normally would be the tone knob, and you know that I don't like tone knobs. No tone knob zone. Also a thing that's hard for me to get out of my mouth. Sometimes I struggle. We all struggle. Sometimes I say things wrong. As you saw in the last video, I'm perfectly capable of being wrong. Either way, where the tone knob would be is an input for a USB jack. And you're thinking to yourself, why is it, what? Why USB on the guitar? Well, because that charges the battery for the Fishman. There's a nice Fishman battery in there. Charge it up with USB, and you're good for several hundred hours, which is pretty cool. It only takes about 2 hours to fully charge when it's completely dead, and that's it. It's a real simple, bare bones instrument. Now, we've just talked about the specs, and I want to put some things in perspective for you. We're going to do a little bit of math, and I'll have it pop up on the screen, because I'm dyslexic, and if I try to do math just here with the old noggin in real time, it's going to be real embarrassing. And I've already teapotted today, so we don't need more embarrassment, do we? For you, you probably do. It's probably highly entertaining. Are you enjoying laughing at me? Look, I don't blame you. Anyway, so let's talk about pricing and how this all came together. So, as you saw on the last guitar, that guitar came in at $1299.99. No case, by the way. What the f? Either way, let's talk about the pieces here. So, this guitar, the neck ran me $299, and that's not, it's not cheap, but it's also not incredibly expensive for a neck. Baritone neck, $300. The body was just shy of $100. Pickup about $100. Bridge $60. Tuning keys just about $60. And then to pay my lovely friend Jeff to do all the luthier work was about $100. So let's do some math. And there you have it. So I was able to put this guitar together for less than $1,000, and for less than $200, I got a nice case for it. So I'm already in better territory than I would be if I went with something that was prefabricated like the ESP-LTD. Now, that's not to say that you should do that. I'm not advocating for that. I am advocating for you to give options a try. Some people just like a certain brand and they want to go to it, but if there's a guitar company out there that you like, or let's say you like a more traditional thing like a Fender Strat or a Tele or something of the sort, but you want to make it your own, using a combination of the different sites that are out there to do a build of this kind, as long as you are paying attention to that all the parts will work together, could really put you in a nice place to have something extremely unique and really dialed into exactly what your use case is. So that's kind of what we have here. I have very quickly fallen in love with this guitar. I think it's incredible. It is the most stable instrument I have as far as tuning goes, and it just sounds like a monster. And I'm sure you'd like to hear it. So here we go. So that was the sound example for this Strat, and we're gonna just kind of get into my closing thoughts here. And we'll start with this guitar, make our way back into the EC. So to start off with this guitar, yeah, it's a parts build. It took some effort to put together. I think in total, I accumulated the pieces over the course of about a year, and then dropped them off to my luthier pal who put it all together for me. That took a few months in between his schedule to make it all worthwhile. It turned out to be an incredible instrument. It's incredibly balanced. It is a medium weight. It's not heavy, but it is not light by any means. Plays like a charm, feels great. The tummy cut on it is really comfortable. Again, as a guy who's never owned a Strat before, I didn't know what to expect, and I'm pleasantly surprised and now officially a Strat guy. So that's something that I'll spend money on. Yeah, it's a pretty incredible instrument, and taking into consideration I got to fully spec this thing out exactly the way I wanted and put all the parts into it that I wanted. I didn't spare any expense as far as that goes. I've got nice hardware, nice pickups, a nice body, really high-end neck. Everything is set up flawlessly. honestly, if you're someone who's just wanting something custom and you're wanting to get out there and try something new, this may be the avenue for you. You can use sites like Guitar Fetish or Warmouth, so on and so forth, and put together something really nice. I will recommend that if you're going to use Warmouth or Fender for the neck, go with GFS for the body. You'll save yourself a tremendous amount of money and get a body that's equal in quality to the Warmouth stuff. As long as you go with the XGP stuff. Don't go Lido and don't go with Guitar Fetish Standard. The XGP stuff is where it's at. It's all American spec. It will fit in a Fender body or any sort of body that is cut for a USA or MIM Fender neck. To toss together something that keeps you under, what the budget would be for something like the EC, and really gives you a lot of character and versatility, and just something that's uniquely your own, that only you have, that's just for you. Now, you may not have access to a nice luthier. There are plenty of videos out there, and you can get a little cheaper if you want to do everything from Guitar Fetish, build yourself out something nice, and test it that way. Either way, builds are always an option. It's a great way to get exactly what you want if the types of things you're looking for are something like this. Let's talk about the EC now. All right, so EC-1000. Honestly, it's a fantastic instrument. The downside to it, truthfully, in my opinion, is the price. It's $12.99, and it doesn't come with a case, which is nonsense. You do get 2 Fishman Fluence monitors. Great, you got the whole set. Got some tonal versatility there. There's probably more you can do with the wiring to get more out of these pickups, which is pretty cool. You do have some decent specs here as far as the tuning keys go, being locking, great for fast string replacements. The Tone Pros bridge is always nice rather than something that's OEM or generic, so you don't have to worry about any of the syncing effect that you might get from a typical OEM bridge. If you're someone who loves the Les Paul shape, and you want an absolute metal chug machine, which feels really awful to say out loud, but if you are one of those people, well, this might be for you. Again, doesn't come with a case, and you just spent $12.99. Maybe you're okay with that. And in that case, you got a fantastic guitar. Neck through construction is always a thing that people love and consider a plus. I'm neither here nor there with that, but in my opinion, fantastic instrument, and holds its own with any of the others that are on the market. I have to be honest, of all of the ESPs I've had on the channel as of late, the ECs have been the better of those. The EC7 Evertune that I had was incredible out of the box. Didn't require any setup. It was there, ready to roll. This one required a bit of finesse with getting the setup going, and that's to be expected, but it was nothing major, no bad fretwork, any of that sort of thing like I've experienced on the SN1 and a few other guitars from ESP. If I were going to choose one or the other, I would probably go with the Strat, just because I made it for myself to my own spec. I just have a bit of a connection to it, and that it was a build and something I put all the parts together myself. It's also got higher specs than this guitar, so that is something to take in consideration. If you don't care about any of that and you just want, this type of thing, and you want something prefab that's done out of the box, that's got all this stuff, this is probably your jam. I have nothing bad to say about either of them, other than, this one doesn't come with a case. Then the other one, well, it took about a year to put all the parts together. If there's something you're interested in seeing, please let me know. Just to put it out there, all the tones you heard today in the video are all from Tonex and from the Pod Express. So until next time, it's been me. It's always you. Gear Stuff and Things. Bye.